Hi, my name is Logan and thank you for choosing GoGo Rental. Before you hit the road today, we'll walk you through everything you need to know to have a safe and enjoyable ride. First, let's go over the rental requirements. To rent a moped from GoGo Rental, you must be 18 years of age, possess a valid driver's license, and place a $50 security deposit on a major credit card. Now that we know the requirements, let's go over a few rules of the road. There's only one person allowed on a moped. This means 0 passengers. Not only is this the policy of GoGo Rental, but this is also the law of many states across the country. So riding 2 passengers on a moped could not only result in us voiding your contract and ending your rental early, but it could also result in citations and fines. Next, and this is very important, all of our mopeds must be locked up properly before leaving them unattended, even if that's only for a little bit. Always wear your helmet. And lastly, parking rules. You're not allowed to park or ride on any sidewalks. So when it comes time to park, be sure that you're just using regular vehicle parking spaces and locking the moped up accordingly. Now that we've covered requirements as well as some rules of the road, let's talk about basic moped operation. Let's begin with starting our moped. In order to start the moped, you're going to grab your key and you'll put it in the ignition. You'll twist that key straight up to the right so the key is now vertical in the ignition. And then we're going to grab our left brake, make sure that our kill switch is in the run position, and then we're going to push our starter button, which is right underneath the kill switch on our right hand side of the handlebars. At times, especially when starting a cold moped, you may have to give the throttle a bit of a twist to get it to start. Once the moped starts, you can remove your thumb from the starter button and you're ready to ride. In order to operate the twist throttle on our mopeds, simply twist the throttle towards you to accelerate and away from you to decelerate. Now that we've covered accelerating and decelerating, let's talk about braking. To brake on any of our mopeds, we're going to have a left brake which operates our back brake and a right brake which operates our front brake. It's very important to rely primarily on the back brake while braking, which is going to be on your left side. And if you need to come to a more abrupt stop, then you can use both brakes in unison. We don't recommend using the front brake by itself simply because if you grab a handful of front brake, you're going to come forward on the moped while braking. Now that you know how to start and stop your moped, let's talk about some of the other functions. We'll start with blinkers. The blinker operation on a moped is all going to be handled on the left-hand side of your handlebars. You'll push left to go left, you'll push right to go right. One important thing to remember, to turn them off, you'll have to push that same little knob in. This will turn the blinkers off. They will not turn off automatically by themselves by executing the turn, so make sure to turn them off every time. Right underneath your blinkers, you're going to find your horn. It's very important to know where this horn is and not be afraid to use it on the road. The horn is going to be the best defense against other drivers who may not see you while driving.
All moped rentals go out with a full tank of gas. Each moped has a 1-gallon gas tank and typically gets around 100 miles per gallon. If you need to refuel during your ride, the gas cap will either be to the left of the steering column or under the seat. If it's to the left of the steering column, insert your key into the ignition, push in while twisting the key to the right. You'll feel some resistance, then twist just a little bit further and this will pop open your gas cap. Be sure to always use premium 91 to 93 octane fuel. There is no need to fill up the tank before returning. Just bring it back with whatever's left.
Now that we've covered the basic functions of the moped, let's talk about parking and locking up. Underneath the seat of every moped rental, you're going to find a lock and chain. In order to access underneath that seat, you'll just simply twist the key to the left. You'll hear that seat pop open, and then you'll find your lock and chain. Now you're going to use this lock and chain to go through the spokes of the back tire of the moped and then put that around a fixed object. One thing to keep in mind is to not run the chain through the spokes where the valve stem is located. This could result in pulling the valve stem out of the tire, which would result in a flat tire. Another thing to keep in mind while parking is you're not allowed to park on sidewalks. If you park on a sidewalk, you could be ticketed or towed. So be sure that you're parking in designated moped parking areas. And if you're riding in a group, you can add a level of security by locking your mopeds to each other. Now, when it comes time to hop back on your moped and continue your ride, don't forget to remove the chain from the back tire. If you fail to lock the moped up properly, this could void your contract and any coverage you may have purchased, which would leave you completely liable for the entire value of your moped. Although these steps are not required, you could follow these steps for added levels of security. The first would be locking your steering column. In order to lock the steering column, you just need to push the key in and twist it to the left. Now your steering column will not be able to turn back to the right. To unlock the steering column, just do the opposite. Push the key in and then twist it back to the right. On some of our models, we also have a lock-unlock switch under the seat. What this is going to do is going to kill the flow of gas to the moped, so no matter how many times you try to start the moped, it's never going to start. If you do choose to use this form of security, be sure that you switch it back to unlock before you hit the road. Finally, I just want to mention that locking the steering and using the lock-unlock switch under the seat is not a substitute for locking up your moped. Be sure that you lock up your moped anytime you're leaving it unattended. Now that we've covered operation of the moped, let's go through some troubleshooting steps in case you experience issues while out on rent. The most common call that we get is that a moped won't start. So let's make sure that we're following all the proper steps to get our moped started. First, make sure that the key is in the ignition and switch to the on position. Next, we want to make sure that we're going through our starting steps. The kill switch should be in the run position. We're going to grab our left brake and then we're going to push our starter button. In this case, our moped started right up, but let's pretend that going through these steps, it still would not start. We want to check under our seat and make sure that the lock switch is in the unlock position. Keep in mind that not all of our mopeds have this lock and unlock switch under the seat, so if you don't have one, you can skip this step. The next thing that you'll do is make sure that your moped has gas. The best way to do this is just to look directly into the gas tank. If you've gone through these steps and your moped still won't start, it's likely being caused by one of two issues. The first and maybe most common issue would be that the moped has a dead battery. You'll know if your moped has a dead battery once you turn your ignition switch on. If your lights aren't lighting up or your gauges aren't displaying, your battery is likely dead. Or when you go to start your moped, if it only turns over a couple times and then stops, your battery is likely very low and not able to start your moped. Now let's go through the steps on kickstarting your moped in the event that your battery is dead. The first thing that you're going to want to do is place your moped on the center stand. In order to do this most efficiently, you're going to grab the back rack of the moped, push down on the center stand with your leg at the same time as pulling up on that back rack. The Kickstarter is located on the left-hand side of the moped. Once your Kickstarter is flipped out and your moped is on the center stand, you can follow the normal starting procedure. So make sure that your key is in the on position. You're going to grab that left brake, and then we're going to make sure that our kill switch is in the run position and press our starter button while simultaneously kicking down on the Kickstarter. It may take a few kicks to get your moped started, but once it's started and running, the running moped will charge your battery, and if you ride for an hour or more, most of the time you'll find when you come back to your moped that it will start on its own without the need of the Kickstarter. The next most common issue that renters face on the road is that their moped for some reason starts running sluggish or really not wanting to start. If this is what you're experiencing, the most likely cause is that your moped was tipped over on its side. When this happens, oil will run from the oil pan into your airbox, which basically suffocates your moped. This is an easy fix, but you need to call us right away so we can come out and either get this fixed for you on the road or swap out your moped.
GoGo Rental staff has already inspected your moped to make sure that it's safe and ready to ride. We've also checked for any existing damage and marked it with a clear sticker called a damage dot. Before you head out, we recommend doing your own walk around and take photos or a video of the moped. If you notice any damage that isn't clearly marked by a damage dot, be sure to get a close-up photo or video and let a GoGo Rental team member know before you hit the road. When you return, you'll be responsible for any new damage caused during your rental unless you purchase one of our coverage options.
Okay, you are now all ready to go. Just remember, always wear your helmet. No riding or parking on sidewalks. Lock up your moped every time you park. Only one person per moped. This means no passengers. And if you experience issues, give us a call. We're happy to help. Thank you for choosing GoGo Rental and enjoy your ride.